Welcome, my friends. Imagine your mind as a room, sometimes quiet, sometimes cluttered, sometimes stormy with racing thoughts you cannot control. Every day, millions of people wake up feeling that inner chaos, stress gnawing at their focus, anxiety whispering fears about the future, and restlessness stealing the calm that should belong to them. What if I told you that peace of mind isn't a distant dream or a rare gift, but something you can cultivate deliberately, step by step, using simple yet profound practices? In the next few moments, we will explore the secrets to quieting your anxious mind, unlocking the calm that has always been within you, and discovering a life where focus, presence, and joy are not fleeting. They are natural states of being. This isn't just theory. It's a practical journey, blending science, ancient wisdom, and everyday strategies designed to help you reclaim mental clarity, emotional balance, and a deep sense of inner peace. By the end of this audiobook, you won't just know how to reduce anxiety. You'll feel it, experience it, and carry it into every part of your life. Anxiety and burnout are widespread but not inevitable. Anxiety and burnout are becoming a part of everyday life for so many people today, and yet the truth is, they are not something we are destined to live with forever. In our fast-paced modern world, we are constantly juggling multiple responsibilities: work deadlines, social obligations, family duties, and the endless stream of information from our phones and computers. This constant stimulation can make our minds feel like they are running on a treadmill that never stops, leaving us mentally exhausted and emotionally drained. Many of us feel like we are carrying invisible weights that no one else can see, and over time, this pressure can manifest as anxiety, irritability, or a deep sense of burnout. But here's the important thing to remember. Just because anxiety and burnout are common does not mean they are inevitable. They are signals from our mind and body, telling us that we need to pause, breathe, and recalibrate. By understanding these signals and learning simple, mindful strategies, we can start to regain control over our thoughts and energy. We can create moments of calm, even in the busiest days, reduce the constant mental chatter, and slowly untangle ourselves from the cycles of stress that have been weighing us down. The journey toward a calmer, more peaceful mind doesn't happen overnight, but by acknowledging that anxiety and burnout are temporary states rather than permanent conditions, we open the door to real change and a life that feels lighter, clearer, and more balanced. The accomplishment mindset can lead to chronic stress. The accomplishment mindset is something most of us are familiar with, even if we don't always recognize it in ourselves. It's the deep-seated belief that our worth and happiness are tied to constant achievement, that we must always be doing more, earning more, producing more, or proving ourselves in some way. On the surface, this mindset can feel motivating, pushing us to reach higher and accomplish great things. But underneath, it can be exhausting, because it rarely allows the mind to rest or feel satisfied. When every day becomes a checklist of tasks, goals, and obligations, our brains start to measure value by output rather than presence or well-being. The danger here is that this constant striving can silently turn into chronic stress, where tension lingers even in moments that should feel relaxing. Over time, this pressure doesn't just affect our mental state. It can seep into our bodies, leading to fatigue, insomnia, irritability, and even physical health issues. What's important to realize is that the accomplishment mindset isn't inherently bad, but when it dominates our lives, it can overshadow our ability to simply be, to enjoy small moments, and to feel content without constant validation. Learning to step back, breathe, and celebrate small wins, or even periods of rest without guilt, allows us to reclaim our calm. It reminds us that life is not only about doing more, it's also about being more present, more grounded, and more compassionate toward ourselves. By understanding the hidden cost of the accomplishment mindset, we can start to create a healthier balance between ambition and peace, achievement and serenity, striving and simply living. Dopamine drives our pursuit of more at the cost of calm. Dopamine is often popularly described as the pleasure chemical, but this is actually a simplification of what it really does in our brains. Dopamine is more accurately connected to anticipation, motivation, and the drive to seek rewards rather than the enjoyment of the reward itself. It is the force that nudges us to chase the next exciting experience, the next achievement, or the next source of validation. On one hand, this can be incredibly powerful. It motivates us to explore, learn, and grow. But on the other hand, it can create an endless cycle of craving and striving, where the mind is never fully satisfied. We begin to measure our happiness by what we are about to gain rather than what we already have, and this constant chase can silently steal our peace of mind. Whether it's scrolling endlessly on social media for the next dopamine hit, seeking recognition at work, or trying to accumulate more possessions, the effect is the same. Our nervous system remains alert, our thoughts remain restless, and calm feels increasingly out of reach. The key to breaking free from this cycle is awareness, recognizing when dopamine-driven habits are taking over our lives and deliberately creating space to pause, reflect, and enjoy the present moment. By learning to find satisfaction in simple, everyday experiences, and by practicing mindfulness, we can begin to temper our pursuit of more with a sense of calm, allowing our minds to rest and recharge. In essence, dopamine is not the enemy, but unbridled chasing without reflection can quietly erode the serenity we all crave. Digital superstimuli hijack our brain's reward system. In today's world, our brains are constantly under siege from what experts call digital superstimuli. These are excessive artificial triggers, like notifications, endless scrolling feeds, flashy ads, and constant pings, that overstimulate our senses in ways our ancestors never experienced. Our brains are wired to respond to novelty and reward, which in the past helped us survive. But in the digital age, this wiring is being hijacked. Every new notification, every trending post, or even the next email alert floods our reward system, giving momentary excitement and gratification, but leaving us craving more almost immediately. It's a cycle that feels addictive. We scroll, we check, we refresh, seeking that tiny hit of anticipation and reward. But what we get instead is mental fatigue, restlessness, and a growing inability to focus or relax. Over time, this constant digital bombardment disrupts our natural ability to find calm, leaving the mind in a near constant state of alertness, even when we are trying to rest. The key to regaining balance is awareness and deliberate action. By setting boundaries, creating periods of digital detox, and practicing mindful engagement with technology, we can reclaim control over our attention. This allows our minds to rest, our nervous systems to settle, and our natural sense of calm to return. In essence, the digital world is not inherently harmful, but without conscious management, it hijacks our brain's reward circuits, keeping us in a cycle of stimulation that quietly erodes inner peace. Taming chronic stress is crucial for finding calm. Chronic stress is one of the silent thieves of peace in our modern lives, gradually eroding both our mental clarity and physical health without us even realizing it. Unlike short bursts of stress, which can sometimes sharpen our focus or motivate action, chronic stress lingers like a shadow, quietly influencing our thoughts, emotions, and body. It can show up as constant worry, irritability, sleepless nights, tension headaches, or even digestive issues. The problem is that many of us have become so accustomed to this background tension that we accept it as a normal part of life, never realizing that it doesn't have to be this way. Taming chronic stress requires more than just willpower. It demands awareness and intentional action. It starts with identifying the sources of stress in our lives, whether they are work pressures, social obligations, or even internal patterns of negative thinking. From there, we can implement practical strategies, setting boundaries, practicing deep breathing or mindfulness, prioritizing rest, and creating small daily rituals that cultivate calm. Each of these steps sends a message to the body and mind that it is safe to relax, slowly rewiring our nervous system to respond with presence rather than tension. By learning to tame chronic stress, we create a foundation for true mental tranquility where our thoughts are clearer, our emotions are steadier, and the simple act of being alive can be experienced with more ease, joy, and balance. In essence, calming the storm of chronic stress is not just a luxury. It is the very gateway to living a life that feels lighter, more intentional, and profoundly peaceful. Calm is achieved through analog activities and presence. In a world dominated by screens, notifications, and endless digital noise, one of the most effective ways to cultivate calm is by engaging in analog activities, those simple, real-world tasks that don't require a phone, tablet, or computer. These could be anything from reading a physical book, writing in a journal, cooking a meal, drawing, gardening, or simply taking a walk without your headphones or phone. When we immerse ourselves in these activities, our minds are no longer pulled in 100 directions at once. Instead, we begin to reconnect with the present moment, noticing details we normally overlook. The texture of the paper as we write, the aroma of food as we cook, the rustle of leaves as we walk. This presence grounds us, slowing down our thoughts and allowing our nervous system to relax. Unlike digital distractions, which constantly demand our attention and overstimulate our brains, analog activities give us space to breathe, reflect, and simply be. Over time, regularly practicing these moments of analog engagement can rewire our minds to find satisfaction in simplicity, reduce mental chatter, and enhance our overall sense of peace. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't require special tools or expensive routines, just intention and the willingness to step away from constant digital stimulation. By embracing analog activities and being fully present, we can reclaim a sense of calm that is increasingly rare in our hyper-connected lives, experiencing life with clarity, joy, and a grounded sense of serenity that no screen can ever provide. Investing in calm enhances productivity and well-being. Many people mistakenly believe that staying constantly busy is the key to productivity and success. But the truth is, without calm, our efficiency and well-being suffer. Prioritizing calm doesn't mean doing less or being unproductive. It means creating the mental space necessary to focus, think clearly, and act effectively. When our minds are cluttered with stress, distractions, and endless worries, even simple tasks feel overwhelming, and our energy is drained before we can accomplish anything meaningful. By intentionally investing time in practices that cultivate calm, such as meditation, mindful breathing, or even short breaks away from screens, we allow our brains to reset and recharge. This mental clarity doesn't just make work easier, it enhances creativity, decision-making, and emotional stability. Calm becomes a foundation for productivity because it frees us from the constant cycle of reactive thinking, helping us approach challenges with a clear, focused mind rather than a frantic, scattered one. Beyond work, investing in calm also boosts overall well-being. It reduces stress-related physical ailments, improves sleep quality, strengthens relationships, and fosters a sense of inner balance that spills over into every aspect of life. In essence, creating calm is not a luxury or a pause from life. It is the very energy that fuels a more productive, meaningful, and joyful existence. By treating calm as an investment rather than an indulgence, we unlock the full potential of both our minds and our lives, achieving more while feeling lighter, centered, and truly present in each moment. Savoring and engagement are key to sustainable success. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of constantly chasing the next achievement, the next promotion, the next milestone, or even the next moment of excitement. We often overlook the simple truth that lasting success and true satisfaction don't come from relentless pursuit alone. They come from fully engaging with the experiences we have and savoring the journey itself. Savoring means taking the time to notice the details, to feel gratitude for small wins, and to be present in moments that might otherwise pass unnoticed. Engagement is about immersing ourselves completely in what we are doing, whether it's a project at work, a conversation with a loved one, or even a quiet moment of reflection. When we combine savoring with engagement, we allow ourselves to experience life deeply, creating memories, insights, and satisfaction that no fleeting achievement can provide. This practice slows down the mental rush for more and helps us appreciate the richness of what we already have, transforming ordinary moments into sources of joy and fulfillment. Over time, savoring and engagement not only make life feel more meaningful but also build sustainable success because they prevent burnout, enhance motivation, and foster emotional resilience. In essence, the true measure of achievement is not how many goals we tick off, but how fully we live, feel, and appreciate each step along the way. By learning to savor experiences and engage completely, we cultivate a life that is not only successful, but profoundly satisfying, balanced, and rich with presence. The accomplishment mindset can diminish joy. The relentless drive to achieve, often called the accomplishment mindset, can quietly steal the simple joys of life without us even realizing it. When every action, every moment, and every interaction is measured by productivity or outcomes, the natural pleasure we might find in ordinary experiences starts to fade. A walk in the park can feel like wasted time unless it's productive. A conversation with a friend can be undervalued unless it serves a purpose, and even hobbies or creative pursuits may become stress-inducing if we view them through the lens of achievement. Over time, this mindset can lead to chronic dissatisfaction, as nothing ever feels enough, and the constant measuring of worth by output leaves little room for genuine happiness. Burnout then becomes almost inevitable, as our minds and bodies are forced to run at full speed without pause or rest. The antidote lies in consciously stepping back, slowing down, and embracing the beauty of simply being rather than constantly doing. By allowing ourselves to engage in activities for the joy they bring, rather than the results they produce, we open space for real contentment, relaxation, and inner fulfillment. Life becomes richer when we savor small pleasures, watching a sunset, listening to music, enjoying a warm cup of tea, without the pressure to achieve in the process. In learning to balance ambition with presence, we reclaim the joy that the accomplishment mindset can so easily erode, cultivating a deeper, more sustainable happiness that enriches both our work and our lives. Calm is a deliberate state of mind. Calm is not something that simply happens to us. It is a deliberate choice and a state of mind that must be actively cultivated. In the midst of our busy, chaotic lives, it's easy to assume that stress, anxiety, and mental chatter are just part of the natural order. But true calm requires intention. It begins with awareness, recognizing the moments when our thoughts are scattered, our emotions are on edge, or our bodies are tense. From there, we can engage in practices that help quiet the mind and restore balance, such as mindful breathing, meditation, journaling, or even simple walks without distractions. These are not just relaxation techniques. They are tools to train the mind to return to stillness, to find space between thoughts, and to reduce the constant mental noise that often governs our days. Achieving calm also requires patience and consistency. It doesn't happen overnight, and the mind may resist at first, pulling us back into old patterns of stress and overthinking. Yet with regular practice, calm becomes a more natural response, a habit that allows us to navigate challenges with clarity, make decisions without panic, and experience life with a sense of grounded presence. By deliberately choosing calm, we are not escaping life's responsibilities or avoiding reality. We are equipping ourselves with the mental clarity and emotional resilience needed to handle life more effectively. In essence, calm is both a practice and a gift we give ourselves, a conscious shift from chaos to composure that transforms not just our minds, but the quality of our entire experience. Digital decompression is essential for mental health. In today's hyper-connected world, our minds are constantly bombarded by notifications, messages, emails, and endless streams of content, leaving very little room to truly rest. This constant digital stimulation can overload our nervous system, fragment our attention, and silently elevate stress levels, making it difficult to find inner calm or focus on what truly matters. That's why digital decompression, intentionally stepping away from screens for periods of time, is not just a luxury, but an essential practice for mental health. By giving ourselves these intentional breaks, whether it's an hour, half a day, or even just a few moments without phone, computer, or social media, we allow our minds to reset, our attention to stabilize, and our creativity to emerge. During these moments, we can reconnect with the present, notice the world around us, engage deeply with people face to face, or simply reflect without distraction. Digital decompression also helps break the cycle of dopamine-driven craving for constant notifications, reducing anxiety and helping us reclaim a sense of control over our attention. Over time, incorporating regular periods of digital silence trains the brain to experience calm more naturally, improves focus, and nurtures emotional balance. In essence, Stepping away from the digital noise is like giving our minds a deep, restorative breath. A simple yet profound practice that enhances not just productivity, but overall well-being, clarity, and peace of mind in a world that never seems to stop. The 3-3-3 rule can ground you in the present. When anxiety starts to overwhelm us, it can feel as if our minds are spinning out of control, trapped in a storm of worries about the past or fears of the future. In these moments, simple grounding techniques can be incredibly powerful, and one of the most effective is the 3-3-3 rule. This technique encourages you to identify 3 things you can see, 3 things you can hear, and 3 things you can physically touch. By focusing your attention on these tangible aspects of your environment, your mind is gently redirected away from spiraling thoughts and brought firmly back into the present moment. The beauty of this practice is its simplicity. It requires no special equipment or training, only your awareness and willingness to notice the world around you. As you identify each item, whether it's the texture of your chair, the sound of birds outside, or the color of a nearby object, you create a bridge between your restless mind and your immediate surroundings. This process not only interrupts anxious thought patterns, but also reminds you that you are here, now, and safe in the present moment. Over time, practicing the 3-3-3 rule strengthens your ability to pause, breathe, and regain mental clarity whenever anxiety threatens to take over, offering a practical, accessible, and empowering tool to cultivate calm in everyday life. It is a simple yet profound reminder that peace is always available to us, as long as we bring our awareness back to the here and now. Visualization can reduce anxiety symptoms. One of the most powerful tools for calming an anxious mind is the practice of visualization. Deliberately imagining calming scenes or vividly picturing ourselves achieving meaningful goals. Visualization works because our brains often respond to imagined experiences almost as strongly as to real ones. When we picture a serene beach, a quiet forest, or a cozy room, our body begins to relax, our heart rate slows, and our racing thoughts gradually settle. Likewise, visualizing positive outcomes or personal successes can reduce feelings of fear and uncertainty, replacing anxiety with a sense of confidence and possibility. The practice doesn't require anything complicated, just a quiet moment, focus, and imagination. The key is to immerse yourself in the details. Notice the colors, sounds, textures, and even the smells in your mental scene, or feel the pride, relief, or joy of achieving a goal. By engaging your senses fully, you signal to your nervous system that it is safe, helping to interrupt the cycle of anxious thoughts. Over time, regular visualization can rewire the brain to respond more calmly in stressful situations, boost emotional resilience, and improve overall mental well-being. In essence, visualization transforms the mind into a sanctuary where anxiety is softened and the possibilities of calm, focus, and achievement become tangible, allowing us to navigate life with greater ease and inner balance. Mindfulness practices enhance presence. Mindfulness is the art of truly being present in each moment, noticing what is happening inside and around us without judgment. In our busy, often chaotic lives, it is easy for the mind to drift into past regrets or future worries, leaving us feeling scattered, anxious, or disconnected. Regular mindfulness practices such as meditation, deep breathing exercises, or even mindful walking offer a way to gently bring attention back to the here and now. These practices help us observe our thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them, creating a sense of calm and clarity that permeates daily life. By focusing on our breath, the sensations in our body, or the simple rhythm of walking, we train our mind to slow down and anchor itself in the present. Over time, mindfulness strengthens our awareness, making it easier to respond to challenges thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. It reduces stress, improves emotional regulation, and enhances our ability to connect deeply with ourselves and others. Beyond mental benefits, mindfulness also brings subtle shifts in how we experience life. A cup of tea tastes richer, conversations feel more meaningful, and simple moments become sources of joy rather than being overlooked. In essence, mindfulness is not just a practice, but a way of living, a deliberate cultivation of presence that transforms ordinary experiences into moments of clarity, peace, and connection, allowing the mind to find calm even amidst the busyness of everyday life. Physical activity can alleviate stress. Physical activity is one of the most effective yet often overlooked tools for calming the mind and relieving stress. When we move our bodies through exercise, whether it's jogging, yoga, dancing, cycling, or even a brisk walk, our brains release endorphins, natural chemicals that lift our mood and counteract stress hormones like cortisol. Beyond the physiological benefits, physical activity provides a form of mental release, allowing pent-up tension, frustration, and anxious energy to flow out of the body. It also creates a sense of accomplishment and self-efficacy, reinforcing our confidence and resilience in facing daily challenges. Engaging in regular movement helps reset our nervous system, making it easier to think clearly, sleep better, and respond to stress with composure rather than agitation. Importantly, physical activity doesn't need to be intense or time-consuming to be effective. Even simple, consistent habits like stretching in the morning or walking after meals can have profound effects on mental well-being. Over time, the practice of moving our bodies becomes not just a strategy for health, but a ritual for cultivating inner calm, grounding ourselves in the present and reconnecting with the rhythm of life. In essence, physical activity is not merely a way to strengthen muscles or improve fitness. It is a powerful gateway to emotional balance, mental clarity, and a lasting sense of well-being that carries into every aspect of our lives. Sleep is foundational to mental health. Sleep is not merely a passive state of rest, it is the foundation upon which our mental, emotional, and physical health is built. Without adequate and restorative sleep, our minds become foggy, our emotions more volatile, and our ability to cope with stress diminishes significantly. Quality sleep allows the brain to process experiences, consolidate memories, and regulate the balance of hormones that influence mood, appetite, and energy. When we consistently skimp on sleep, anxiety and irritability can intensify, cognitive function suffers, and the ability to focus or make sound decisions becomes impaired. Yet, the solution is not just about the number of hours in bed. It's about creating a sleep environment and routine that supports true rest. Dim lights, minimal screen exposure before bed, a consistent bedtime, and relaxation practices that signal to the body that it is safe to let go. When we prioritize sleep, we are giving our mind the opportunity to reset and recharge, allowing mental clarity, emotional balance, and resilience to emerge naturally. Sleep becomes a form of self-care, a deliberate act of nurturing our mental health and a key ingredient in calming an anxious or overstimulated mind. By treating sleep as foundational rather than optional, we lay the groundwork for a life where our thoughts are clearer, our emotions are steadier, and our capacity to experience calm, joy, and focus grows exponentially. Nutrition impacts mood and anxiety levels. What we eat plays a far greater role in our mental and emotional well-being than most of us realize. A balanced diet rich in essential nutrients, like vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and proteins, can have a profound impact on mood, energy, and even anxiety levels. Our brains rely on these nutrients to produce neurotransmitters, the chemicals that regulate mood, focus, and calm. When our diet is poor, heavily processed, or lacking in vital nutrients, we can experience fluctuations in energy, irritability, and heightened feelings of stress or anxiety. Conversely, nourishing the body with whole, nutrient-dense foods supports stable blood sugar, reduces inflammation, and provides the building blocks for a brain that functions at its best. Simple habits, such as eating colorful vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, and lean proteins, or drinking enough water, can subtly but powerfully improve mental clarity and emotional resilience. Beyond the biochemical effects, mindful eating, taking time to enjoy and appreciate meals, also fosters a deeper connection with our bodies and promotes presence, reducing the tendency to eat mindlessly out of stress or distraction. In essence, nutrition is not just about physical health. It is a vital tool in cultivating calm, regulating emotions, and supporting overall mental well-being. By viewing food as fuel for both the body and the mind, we can create a stable foundation that helps quiet anxious thoughts, improve mood, and enhance the capacity to live with balance and clarity. Social connections provide emotional support. Human beings are inherently social creatures, and our mental health is deeply influenced by the quality of our relationships. Strong social connections, whether with family, friends, or supportive communities, serve as an emotional anchor, helping us navigate life's challenges with resilience and a sense of belonging. When we feel isolated or disconnected, anxiety and stress can intensify, making problems feel heavier and moments of uncertainty feel overwhelming. Conversely, meaningful interactions provide comfort, understanding, and perspective, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. Simply talking to someone who listens without judgment, sharing our feelings, or spending quality time with loved ones can release tension, boost mood, and reduce stress hormones. These connections also offer practical benefits. Advice, encouragement, or shared problem-solving can make challenges more manageable and less frightening. Importantly, cultivating social bonds is not about the quantity of relationships, but the depth and authenticity of them. Even a few deeply supportive relationships can profoundly improve emotional well-being. Over time, these connections act as a protective buffer against anxiety, providing both safety and reassurance that help and companionship are always within reach. In essence, investing in social connections is investing in mental calm and resilience, reminding us that life is richer, lighter, and more meaningful when shared with others who care, support, and walk alongside us through both struggles and joys. Setting boundaries protects mental energy. One of the most powerful yet often overlooked ways to protect our mental health is by setting clear boundaries in both personal and professional life. Boundaries are essentially agreements we make with ourselves and others about what we will accept and what we will not, helping us preserve our mental and emotional energy. Without them, we risk overcommitting, saying yes when we really want to say no, and allowing other people's demands, expectations, or negativity to drain us. Over time, this constant overextension leads to burnout, resentment, and a pervasive sense of overwhelm. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away or being selfish. It's about creating space for self-care, focus, and intentional living. It allows us to prioritize what truly matters, dedicate energy to tasks and relationships that align with our values, and step back from situations that create unnecessary stress. Boundaries can be as simple as defining work hours, limiting social obligations, or saying no to requests that compromise our well-being. When we practice this consciously, we empower ourselves to maintain mental clarity, emotional balance, and a sense of control over our lives. In essence, boundaries act like invisible walls of protection for our mind, preserving the energy needed to think clearly, respond intentionally, and cultivate calm while also fostering healthier and more respectful relationships with others. By honoring our own limits, we create the foundation for a sustainable, peaceful, and fulfilling life. Self-compassion fosters resilience. Self-compassion is one of the most transformative practices for cultivating calm, resilience, and emotional well-being. It is the act of treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and patience that we would offer to a dear friend during moments of struggle, failure, or stress. In life, challenges are inevitable, whether it's facing setbacks at work, dealing with personal conflicts, or confronting our own mistakes and limitations. Without self-compassion, these moments can easily trigger harsh self-criticism, anxiety, and a sense of inadequacy, which only intensifies stress and erodes confidence. By practicing self-compassion, we acknowledge our humanity, accept that imperfection is natural, and create an inner environment of support rather than judgment. This allows us to respond to difficulties with clarity and calm, rather than being overwhelmed by fear or frustration. Simple acts like speaking gently to ourselves, reminding ourselves that everyone struggles, or taking time to nurture our emotional needs build resilience over time, making it easier to recover from setbacks and navigate life's uncertainties with balance. Ultimately, self-compassion is not about indulgence or avoidance of responsibility. It is about strengthening our inner foundation so we can face challenges with courage, maintain mental equilibrium, and cultivate a lasting sense of peace and well-being. By embracing self-compassion, we nurture a mind that is calm, resilient, and capable of thriving even in the most demanding circumstances, turning life's challenges into opportunities for growth and self-discovery. As we come to the end of this journey into calming the anxious mind, remember this: peace is not something you chase. It is something you create, moment by moment, choice by choice. The strategies we explored, the mindful presence, digital decompression, self-compassion, visualization, and all the small daily practices, are not just tips. They are invitations to reclaim your mental clarity, emotional balance, and inner calm. Your mind, like a garden, flourishes when nurtured with awareness, patience, and intention. Take these tools, experiment with them, and watch as your days feel lighter, your focus sharper, and your heart steadier. If this audiobook has inspired you or given you practical ways to quiet your mind, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs calm in their life. Leave a comment to tell us which technique you'll try first, and make sure to subscribe to Bite-Size Book English so you never miss insights that can transform your mind, your habits, and your life. Your journey to a calmer, happier, and more focused mind starts today. Take that step and let the calm flow. And thank you for listening.